All right. Maybe let's get into it. And or we'll join. We can always recap. All right. So I think by far the probably biggest topic of conversation over the last week has been the idea that we proposed last week for the Cosmos Hub and for Stride. So maybe let's just get into it. We're working on a blog post that recaps a lot of our position and where we kind of see this potentially going forward, as well as um, kind of like what the focus will be on, from now on. So maybe to start with the big takeaway, we're hoping to put the blog post out earlier today, but I think it'll go up either like right now, like next 10-15 minutes, or next hour, maybe max. I think people are just working on tweaking some of the final phrasings and language. But the TLDR is that we're basically going to um, shift our focus to fully focusing on Stride. This has never changed. Like we've always been focused on Stride, but we'll basically uh, take a step back from this idea and let people maybe discuss it if they're interested, and maybe let the Cosmos Hub discuss it. But from Stride contributors' point of view, we'll stop kind of um, uh, pushing the idea or maybe talking a bit more about the trade-offs, and instead focus back again on fully just building out the Stride protocol and unlocking liquidity all throughout the Cosmos. That's the quick TLDR, and I'll get more into what the idea there is and some of the thinking around the idea and how we think it's still pretty exciting, what potential paths forward are for the hub. But that's definitely the TLDR. Yeah. So maybe and to start, maybe we can talk about a little bit of the feedback that we've done so far, and then kind of what our idea was with this idea, and why we think it's still pretty exciting, and we hope that the Cosmos Hub can hopefully pursue or either some version of this idea or something that builds on top of it. But we think that discussion should mostly be led by the Cosmos Hub, and the Stride community should switch back its full focus to just building out the protocol and unlocking liquidity all throughout the Cosmos. So to start, maybe just recapping a bit about what our intention was behind this idea and what we're hoping to achieve with it, and maybe then we'll go on to potential paths forward and recap some of the really good thoughtful feedback that we've gotten. So our initial idea the initial reason to put forward this idea is Stride, as you guys know, is a liquid staking provider all throughout the Cosmos, and we support so many different S tokens, like 10 today, but rapidly expanding. But as of today, the most popular token for collateral throughout the Cosmos is Atom. And so Stride's currently very tied to Atom and the future of Atom. That being said, we've had a lot of work over the last 6-7 months, focused a lot on how can we expand the idea of Atom as collateral, make it seen as more popular both in Cosmos, but also on in Ethereum, Solana, etc. We've talked to kind of protocols both in Cosmos, but also all throughout crypto. A lot of that work has kind of led us to appreciate some of the really amazing things Atom has going for it. I think three really great ones to highlight has truly amazing technology stack with the Cosmos SDK. It's by far the best way to make an app chain. It has really great bridging with IBC. I think by far the best bridge and the best way for two blockchains to talk to each other. And it also has a really amazing community. And as a result of that, really amazing governance. I think it truly has the most decentralized governance in all of crypto. And that's really a tremendous accomplishment and can't be understated. I think we may take it a little bit for granted given that it's such a fundamental part of Cosmos. But it's something it's quite hard to do in every other ecosystem and hasn't really succeeded to nearly the extent that it has in Cosmos. But we've also seen some of the shortcomings people have about Atom. And in particular, I think people see a difficulty with the narrative for Atom, and that they're not sure, even though Atom has built and continues to build this really amazing technology, they don't see a compelling path forward for it in terms of value accrual. And I think, to be fair, Atom's done a lot of really great things recently to help expand value accrual. ICS is a really great example that lays the foundation for Atom to expand and get value from primitives that are built on top of Atom and help with their distribution and kind of take advantage of some of the great things that's built. But the way that we saw it is ICS is a really great first step, but there needs to be more steps taken after that help expand on the value capture that Atom might have throughout the ecosystem. Like Atom's done so much to help both allow chains to build on top of Cosmos and also help DeFi foster, but doesn't have a clear kind of way to be remain the center of that going forward. So that being said, we've been talking to a lot. We talked to a lot of teams, Informal in particular, but also Binary and a bunch of other teams in the space. Effort Cap, for example, around what are ways that Atom could remain the center of DeFi in the whole space, and maybe taking a slight detour. Well, and we were thinking a lot. Well, how relevant this is for Stride, and given that Stride is so tied to Atom today, that so much of Stride's revenue comes from Atom, so much of Stride's mindshare comes from Atom, and so much of the adoption of ST tokens. We thought it was a pretty important problem for us to at least think about on how we can help promote Atom throughout the space. Well, one vision that Informal shared with us a while back was this idea that Atom could start owning a bunch of core primitives and get value from that and help promote those throughout the Cosmos. This was pretty compelling for us, and we wanted to kind of discuss it with the community. I think we've gotten a lot of really amazing feedback from a lot of you in particular, and also people on Twitter and the forum, talking about how, well, this might be a really compelling vision for Atom, that everyone kind of sees it as Stride right now is tied to Atom, but in the future could be so much more. Stride can be kind of a token that underlies liquidity all throughout the Cosmos. Maybe even like in spaces beyond, maybe you can expand to Solana, Arbitrum, etc. And that really was very refreshing to hear, and truly very, very heartwarming. And I think, given all this feedback and all the really amazing reception that we've seen to like the Stride community, we're now just going to kind of put aside this potential future for Atom and leave it more to the Atom community, and then fully focus our efforts on building out liquidity for ST tokens. And in particular, I think right now Stride does a lot of effort on trying to push ST Atom as collateral throughout Cosmos and throughout all of DeFi and crypto. We're going to continue to do that. Then I think we're also going to try to focus a little bit more on other ST tokens that people have been really excited about. Some that come to mind are like ST Osmo, ST Evmos, ST Inge, and then new and upcoming ones like STDYDX and STTIA. These always were really huge opportunities for Stride, and we stand to capture a lot of the value from DeFi on top of these ecosystems. And now we just want to kind of reiterate that we're this is going to be a pretty core focus for us. And maybe one really tangible way this might break down has been working really closely with DYDX and hopefully other chains that are going to launch soon in the Cosmos to make Stride a pretty core part of their DeFi ecosystem going forward. So this is like some of our intention behind why I put forth this video, and then a little bit on thinking right now. And then maybe to give one last thing before, I'd love to open it up to you guys to have to hear your thoughts on this and answer any questions, is where we see this kind of going forward. So we've been talking to a lot of people over the last few weeks, especially last week, around potential paths this could go towards. And I think the core problem that we highlighted, that Atom, while established a really great foundation, and ICS is a really great step, needs to find other potential avenues to value capture. I'm talking to, for example, Effort Cap on different ways that Atom might change its tokenomics in order to capture value from here. And then we will continue to work and give David our feedback, as well as other people from the Atom community, like Informal. But we would like to see them kind of push the discussion forward and help drive a lot of potential changes to Atom. Some that David mentioned are tokenomics changes that might see like some portion of the Atom, the ICF's budget or funding that the ecosystem already has towards development projects, maybe being community-led or maybe being driven to tight KPIs. So maybe like a really just a basic example, not to index too heavily, but just to give an idea of maybe some of the changes that Effort Capital has been talking about is maybe the community sets aggressive KPIs for osmosis. So something like we want to see $100 million of daily trading volume for Atom, and then conditional on that being hit, some portion of development funding would then go to osmosis. And this would kind of help tie incentives across the whole space tightly with the goals that Atom sets for itself. So not to next delve into this one approach, but this is just one example of some of the really great feedback that we've gotten that we think could be a really good direction that might help address some of these problems. But just to reiterate, we do really want to have this be led by Cosmos Hub members, and we'll want Stride contributors to focus fully on just the Stride protocol itself. Okay, that was a lot. I'll take a pause there. If anyone has any questions, either raise your hand and I'll invite you to the stage, or drop them in the chat. Would love to hear what you all think though. I can also keep going if people mostly just want to hear more explanation around the decision. But let me know what would be most helpful for you all, or what you find most interesting. There are no wrong answers, I promise. Yeah, Moz from DCA. The quick TLDR is the Stride contributors will not be kind of exploring this idea further. We're gonna, our focus has always been building on Stride, but just to reiterate, now there'll be like no confusion. We're gonna fully focus on building out the Stride protocol. But we're putting out a post. I think it's actually going up right now. It's under like approval by the on the Cosmos Hub forum. That'll explore this a little bit more. That we think basically. We outlined some of our ideas around what we think are good future paths for Atom, but we really want to focus on Cosmos Hub contributors taking it from there and exploring different avenues. Moons, I definitely can talk about other protocol updates too. Yeah, maybe we hop into that if people are good with all the merger talk. Um, Great UA. Yeah, too clear. Stride. I think maybe the really quick TLDR is the Stride contributors or the Stride community. I think we shouldn't really be contemplating so much about this merge, or we shouldn't be the ones leading the discussion. But we do really urge Cosmos Hub community members to think about different tokenomics changes or changes to Atom that might help it capture more value. But from the Stride perspective, we are no merge. Does that make sense? Of course, we're always here. Thank you, Moons. I appreciate that. Well, that's really sweet. Okay, so sorry, I'll talk a little bit slower. It's been a very busy couple of weeks, and so I've had way more caffeine than I should have. Um, I'll post a link to the Cosmos Hub forum soon that will go over this in much more detail. It should be going up next few minutes, and then maybe that'll give a little more insight too. I can also cover a few more protocol changes and other updates about Stride if people are interested in that. But if people have any more questions on kind of the conversion idea, happy to talk about that too. Maybe in the meantime, while people write out their thoughts on the conversion updates, I'll give a little bit of updates on other things on the Stride protocol. So a few kind of actually really exciting things over the last week. So a few just to highlight. One with Agoric and ISG. We've been working with the Agoric team a lot for over the last few months about getting ST Atom as collateral. And we talked to them at Cosmos 2, and we saw a lot of really great feedback from people from Agoric, and a lot of excitement from Dean from Agoric in particular. And they are really excited about having ST Atom as collateral. I think they needed a small technical update on their end to support it, but that's in flight right now. And I think we'll see ST Atom as collateral for Agoric very soon. And based on the kind of excitement that we've seen from their team, I think there's a really high chance that ST Atom is the largest collateral source for for IST, which is super exciting. Atom can now really help be the core collateral for one of the truly most decentralized stablecoins. And maybe just a side note here, I'm sure you're all aware of this, but I've just been so blown away at the quality of the Agoric team. They're truly world class. I know they are a little bit quieter, maybe online, but they are so thoughtful in their discussions and so knowledgeable about the whole space. And a lot of them have been in crypto since like the very early days, and just has been really inspiring to work with them. So that's a quick update on Agoric. Super exciting. And I think we'll see it live in the next hopefully a few weeks, I think is what they told us. A few more pretty exciting updates before we get back into the conversion. Lavana has been working a lot with Lavana over the last few months. I don't know if you all have played around with Lavana, but super exciting perps market. Really great experience. They have a ton of usage and volume and fees as well. But one thing that is a little bit that I think could be improved with Lavana is you have to put up Atom as collateral. This is funny. Well, it's never too late to step back in here. But what I was going to say is with ST Atom, or we talked to Lavana quite a bit, and they are really interested in adding ST Atom as collateral. There's a few technical things to get worked out, mainly around getting them ST Atom price feeds and the redemption rate and getting some like data flowing on the back end and the front ends. But after that technical integration, we are fully strategically aligned on getting ST Atom as collateral in Lavana. Yeah, so that's super exciting. And I think as far as I know, I think it's the first time in crypto that an LST is used as collateral for a perps market, which is also huge. In my mind, I think perps are one of the highest PMF products in all of crypto, and using LSTs as collateral just makes so much sense and helps unlock so much liquidity. So super exciting to see this happen. I think we'll have this live pretty soon. Luis, to your point, their fees are a little bit high, but there's another really big perps market coming to Cosmos very soon. So maybe that one will be lower fees for your taste. Yeah. Side note, DYDX used to do no fees at all for the first 100K in volume per month per user. I love that. That was honestly one of the big things that got me to start using it more. But I think they've since taken it away, which is a little bit unfortunate. And I don't think it's coming back with V4. Very sad. Oh, there's a negative fee in V4? Oh, wow. Okay, then I definitely will do that. Lubos, there I think was pretty exciting things at the start. But let me just finish the other updates, then we'll go back to maybe the start and the updates on the conversion situation. Lavana, that's super huge. A few other quick things we want to talk about. If you all have seen Neptune Finance, it's a money market that's going to launch on Injective. We've been working with them, and they're super keen on having STI and J as being a key collateral source there. So that's a really exciting update. There's already a lot of great money markets in Cosmos, and I believe LSTs are the primary asset on each of them, and it's good to start expanding them. Especially Injective is such a huge ecosystem, such like a really loyal fan base, and a really great team. And I think it's really cool to start seeing more DeFi primitives start launching on Injective. I think it has the potential to be in the next bull market one of the biggest DeFi ecosystems in all of crypto. And I hope so, because Stride is deeply integrated into it. And honestly, truly do love their team. Eric and Mirzo from Injective are super sweet. If you all ever had a chance to see them, you'll definitely love talking to them. One more Injective update. If you all know Abitage, he's been involved in Cosmos for a long time. He used to be with Persistence. He is now working on this project called Filament that I think they're gearing to launch on Injective, another kind of DeFi primitive launching on Injective. Super exciting, and we're working pretty closely with them to adding SC tokens to their protocol as well. So super, super exciting stuff. 3 last quick updates. First, I know a lot of you have been talking quite a bit about how can we use one click to trade out of the Stride real yield. So if you all stake Stride and you claim your rewards, you'll see the ST Atom, ST Osmo, ST Inj, etc. And it's a pain to trade all of those back into Stride. We are very close to doing integration with Skip that will allow you to just in 2 clicks trade all of your Stride dust for Stride So that I think should get shipped pretty soon. I know we've been talking this for a long time, but now we've done the design work for it, and we're I think wrapping up the front end work. So hopefully next 1 week, maybe 2 weeks, this goes live. So I don't want to give a firm timeline, but it's coming. It's coming really soon. And yeah, I imagine this is going to be make all of our lives a little bit easier. So that's super exciting. Oh, that's true. Now you can swap in Kepler too, which does make it easier. But yeah, the skip integration, it'll look nice in the front end too. And yeah, on a related note, I know a lot of you were big fans of info.stride.zone. We had some technical issues with it where it was kind of hard to get the data flowing very consistently. I think that is fixed, and you'll see info stride zone back up soon. As a maybe a quick recap for those who didn't use it before, info stride zone just covers a lot of data about Stride's TDL, in particular the yield that Stride stakers can get and the revenue. And so I think right now Stride's real yield is something like 5.5% over the last few days. Varies a little bit because it depends on protocol fees. But they'll all be more clear in info stride zone. But yeah, Stride's real yield currently is pretty high and always growing. So super exciting stuff there. Okay, one last update. This one is more early stages, but just I think it's pretty exciting, and I love the team a lot, so I just want to talk about it. Is Quasar? Quasar has been working a lot on how we can make, and we started talking to him about this at Cosmoverse. So this is pretty early, but I think it's a good direction to go towards about potentially having vaults that will be deeply ST token integrated. So maybe things like could you have a vault that arbs ST Atom against the like ST Atom pool? So maybe ST Atom is trading at a 3% discount. The vault could buy that and unbond and then give you a much higher Atom yield. That's one example we've been looking at. Another example is vaults that will provide liquidity to make it easier to add POL to Osmosis. That's all really exciting. We talked to Val and the whole Quasar team in Cosmoverse. And so that's just a really exciting direction. Okay, I think that those are most of the updates that we had over the last week. It's actually been a really, really big and busy week. Does no one have any questions on any of them? If not, I can go back to the conversion for people who are interested. And but if people have questions on these, we can definitely keep talking about them. Yeah, I will say I've been using Leap a lot more recently. I love using both the wallets because both Leap and Kepler, just because they both have interesting UXs, and I feel like I learn more from it. But honestly, Leap has been shipping a lot of really cool stuff. Super impressed by their team and the whole UX. Moons, if you don't use Leap already, I would recommend just trying it out. Oh yeah, if you already use all the wallets, that makes sense. Nice. Leap Team ships, they're awesome. They're also just really fun people to talk to. Like they are really thoughtful, super knowledgeable at the space. Love the Kepler team too. I'm not, they're both amazing, but I feel like the Leap team I really bonded with over Cosmoverse. I'm gonna check right now to see if the forum post is up. I'll drop a link if so. Johnny, I think Cosmoverse was really exciting. We talked to a lot of teams. The energy was pretty electric, and we got a lot of kind of. There's been a lot of kind of strategic or BD things that we've been talking about with teams, but I think things move way faster when you're in person and you're able to kind of hash them out and figure out some of the small details and kind of align on things. So it was super productive. And then on top of that, it was also just like a good space, I think, to hear people talk about what they feel is the future of their protocols and what they think the future of Cosmos is. And we saw a lot of really great ideas about ways that Cosmos could improve its distribution. So yeah, I would say I really liked it. It was also beautiful venue. I've never been to Istanbul, so that was really cool to see it. And the whole Cosmoverse team did a really good job. The hotel that Cosmoverse was at this year was astounding. Let me see if I have a picture about it. But the main lobby of the hotel was like honestly the nicest hotel I've ever seen in my whole life. Let me see if I can find them. I'll post it. But yeah, overall, it was a really great time. Fred, quick update on the merge. It is basically we're not pursuing it anymore as a Stride community, and we're going to have a blog post that covers this in more detail. But we have a lot of ideas for how the Cosmos Hub community could take it and run with it, and a lot of ideas for how the tokenomics could be improved for the Cosmos Hub. But as a Stride community, we're going to focus fully on Stride for now. Yeah, love that. Great, but why limit yourself to the size of Lido? I really think Cosmos can end up becoming so much bigger than Ethereum DeFi. Yeah, well, I'm happy. Happy people are mostly really happy at it. And Fred, to be clear, I think a lot of the ideas that we had and a lot of the problems I think we've helped talk about with people that Adam has with Adam tokenomics, I think that does resonate, and we've seen a lot of good impetus from Informal and other people to have ideas to fix those. And so I really think this is going to spur a lot of discussion in the Adam community about changes that Adam should make. And maybe those in the future will interact with Stride, and we're happy to consider those if and when that happens. So no, I think I'm really bullish on Atom, but for the Stride community, I've really just been so impressed at how much all of you resonate with the core vision of Stride, and we don't want to kind of push any change that people aren't excited about. Like I think one thing that I really do appreciate is people are so much more excited and compelled by Stride's vision than we expected. And so we really do want to, we don't want to let anyone down. We want all of you to, be happy with the progress that we're making with Stride and kind of want to be able to deliver on the vision that we all have. Man, this is really sad. I can't find a picture of the hotel lobby. I'm like sure I took one. If I find it, I'll share it in this chat. Great UA to this point. Yeah, it's a good point that Stride could be much bigger if it was the same size as Lido. But I really think Cosmos could be so much bigger as a DeFi ecosystem than Ethereum. Well, one, maybe just aside, a core thesis that we had when we started working on Stride was that a lot of big crypto protocols would switch to their own chain once they got sufficiently big or had enough distribution. A really simple example of this, Uniswap pays so much to Ethereum in rent in order to be on Ethereum network. Like I think a swap right now is like $5 on Uniswap, and there's no way Uniswap gets $5 of revenue per transaction. And so they're paying so much more than their potential revenue to Ethereum in rent. And I think at a large enough size, these big applications will start moving to their own chains just in order to capture more of the value and also deliver a better experience to users because you can do so much more in the Cosmos SDK than you could on Ethereum or Solana. And one really good example of this, I think we've seen this with DYDX, because they are such a big application that has their own distribution. They made, I think, the really smart decision to make an app chain and optimize the UX for users and capture more of that value into the token. And I think a big theory we have with Stride is that in the future, all big crypto apps will move to their own app chain. And I think we're starting to see that. And so as a result, I think Stride's potential market could be much larger than Lido's today. Moons, this does resonate. Yeah, I think this is a big part of feedback we've gotten, that people really do resonate with the app chain thesis, and they don't want to change that into these like fat chains. And that totally makes sense to me, and I really do appreciate all that feedback people have given over last week. And a lot of people have given really thoughtful takes about why the app chain thesis is special to them, or why Stride in particular. And so, yeah, really was very compelling. And just want everyone to know that your feedback really does resonate with us, and we don't take it lightly. You know, like I think we really appreciate that you guys have given us so much respect and responsibility, and we truly do try to try to pursue that. Moz, to this point, we definitely will keep trying to promote ST Atom. Um, and I think this has been a really big focus of ours. I mean, I think you can see this today. Every major DeFi protocol in Cosmos takes ST Atom as collateral. And in most of those protocols, ST Atom is the number one use case, or like the largest token. So by no means has it not been a focus, and it'll continue to be a big focus for us. Particularly outside the Cosmos too. Like we've already exported ST Atom to Polkadot and Arbitrum, and we'll keep trying to push it to more ecosystems because I think there's just so much demand for Atom. But I think we're also going to start focusing now on some other tokens too, and try to see how we can help their DeFi ecosystems. One that comes to mind is Ethnos has such a really great builder ecosystem. Like, there's so many great teams in the space, and they have a lot of really great enthusiasm for LSGs. And we've already been working with them pretty closely. We'll try to see if there's even more we can do to, help promote STFnos. And then like the new chains we've talked about, STDYDX, maybe STTIA, is going to be a really big focus for us as well. Yeah. I hope this resonates with people and this makes sense. Are there any kind of outstanding questions people have or anything on their mind, either about the conversion idea or about any of the updates that I mentioned? Oh, okay. Flip incoming update on the merge is Stride contributors in the Stride community um, won't be pushing the merge or the conversion. But we do want the Cosmos Hub to really reflect on some of the ideas that we had around ways to fix the tokenomics or add more value accrual. And we've gotten really good reception from Informal and Effort Cap and other people on ways to make it so Atom might accrue more value in the whole space and help promote Atom as money. And so, we're really excited about that, and we're happy to help give them our thoughts or ideas. But our full focus will be Stride, and it we'll let the Atom community help. We'll leave it to them to fix tokenomics. It's true. Maybe Stride will acquire the hub. Who knows? I just put a forum post that goes over this in more detail. Definitely let me know if you guys have any thoughts on this. But this is our this kind of outlines just what I'm talking about right now, as well as a little more background into why we think what we think could have been a future for the Cosmos Hub. And better value growth for the hub. Fred, one example that we've seen from Effort Cap, for example, is that the hub could use set like aggressive KPIs for protocols in the space. So a really simple example, not to anchor too heavily to this, but if the hub decides like, okay, a goal for us is to get more Atom trading volume, and then they tell Osmosis, if you get to 100 million in daily Atom volume, then we'll give you like X% of like the Atom funding. Like ICF already has a huge budget that it spends on development funding. Maybe some percentage of that is KPI based. That's like one example as a way to align different protocols. Maybe Atom sets aside like 1 or 2% inflation in order to incentivize the other protocols. David has a lot of great ideas on this, and I don't want to speak for him, but just he's been really noodling on this, and I think it resonates a lot with him and Informal and a lot of other people that value accrual has been a problem, and they're thinking of ways to fix it. I know this is a big post, but I just dropped the forum post, and let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm happy to kind of stay on for as long as possible to answer those questions, or if there's anything else on your minds. Happy to just talk about anything really. There isn't a TLDR. I mean, it's a really complicated issue, and we don't want to dilute it. But I think it's not too long. It shouldn't take you too long to read. And this whole conversation today has been kind of a TLDR. I imagine a lot of you might be reading it right now, but let me know if you have, if anyone wants to come to stage. Oh, Luis, yeah, sorry, I just saw your hand was raised. Yeah, please come on stage. Let me invite you up. If anyone else wants to come on stage and have a back and forth, please just raise your hand. Hey, Luis, can you hear me?
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Hey, yeah. Hi, everyone. Witzka here. Just wanted to say that even though I was very vocal about my opposition to the idea, I think that it was a worthwhile exercise and appreciate the way the team handled it. Open it for discussion and taking all the heat in stride. Was was a good job. I just wanted to show my appreciation for the team, and uh, I'm glad that you saw that there wasn't an alignment between the communities right now for this. But I think working together with the hub is actually beneficial to all Cosmos chains. So I do see the benefit of working together and more in line with the rest of the Atom community. So appreciate the work. Appreciate you taking the feedback and glad to be a holder.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. That means a lot, and I really do appreciate the feedback that you've given over the last week. Um, and just want to be clear. Any feedback that people give us about Stride, we try to internalize and kind of help guide the things that we work on and help us decide what to prioritize. We really do want Stride to be very community driven, and yeah, to the point of I think one thing that surprised us is. I think people often want big changes to protocols to happen in public, which totally makes sense. Like Adam 2.0, I think it was a real shame that it happened behind closed doors. But I think one thing that's highlighted, to me at least, is it is really hard to have such big discussions in public because the level of nuance that can be communicated is a little bit, you have to be really really great at communicating and makes it more challenging. And so maybe just something to think about as a whole ecosystem is how can we make it easier to have these kind of discussions in public?
Yeah, I think I don't recall who said it, but someone mentioned that if you discussed it and hashed it out in private, we would complain that it wasn't public, and you tried to do it. Maybe there were some previous discussions, but you tried to do it in your way, like publicly from the start, and everyone thought it wasn't public. It's a no winner scenario basically. But yeah, I appreciate the communication after the fact.
Totally, yeah, and definitely not that we're not at fault too. We definitely could have done a better job at communicating it. And yeah, it's definitely a learning opportunity for us. And I hope all of you know that our hearts are always in the right place, and we really are doing our hardest to execute on the vision of Stride and the vision that the community has for Stride. And I hope that you all continue to have faith in us as a development team.
Yeah, for sure. My faith is stronger now. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have a good day. Bye.
Thanks a lot, Luis. Actually, one quick thing. Is QA like a abbreviation for your last name, or is Luisca what you prefer to be called? I don't need to assume it's Luis. Ah, makes sense. All right. Yeah. Anyone else have any thoughts or anything they want to discuss? I'm happy to stay if people want to discuss further. Really, I mean, I think part of this is it's tough because to have a price, it has to be. I feel like there has to be a lot of discussion between both communities, and it's possible we should have done this with informal and then shared it after. But yeah, it's just a trade-off, I think, of like how much of the discussion should happen publicly and how much privately. And I've at least learned a lot about how better to communicate these things going forward. And hopefully, we'll do a better job at communication on these things. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, for context, this as far as I know, is the first time that a decentralized merger has ever even been like really discussed at such scale. I think there was a Rari Fay merger, but it was much more centralized and I think a pretty different situation. Um, and so yeah, I mean, I hope both. Like, I definitely learned a lot, and I hope you all did too, and hopefully the whole ecosystem did. And maybe the next time this happens to any two protocols, it'll they can learn on this. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Then one surprising thing here is we had rumors of acquisition or merger or conversion, and price did not pump. So. Another example of how crypto may be a little bit different than traditional companies. Jolly Nectarine, to be clear, all the Stride is not converting to Atom. No. Oh yeah. Maybe just to recap the first part of this. We put out a blog post just now, but the Stride team will kind of stop pushing the idea of, and exploring this potential conversion. Um, and we'll instead let the Cosmos Hub lead any potential discussion. If they're interested, we'll pursue in the future. But for the time being, we will just fully focus on executing the Stride vision. That's funny. Yeah, I did the same. Accidentally converted all my atoms to Stride. What am I gonna do? Oh no, must hold now. Yeah. How are people feeling? Any more questions? If not, we can start wrapping it up. If people have questions, we can definitely keep going. All right, with that, maybe let's wrap things up. I really appreciate all of you all being here. And if you have any questions, please just reach out to us. And happy to chat whenever. And otherwise, I'll see you all at the next FireStride. Cheers. Bye, everyone. Have a great, happy Thursday.